We all know that AI is advancing in many different ways, and there's that age-old debate of whether robots will replace humans or take over the world. But enough talk about that. We've got a more important situation on our hands right now. Can an AI program create better Fakemon than a human can? I guess it's time to find out. Hello everybody, I am MissyDoPop, but you can call me Missy if you'd like. And as you may be able to tell, today I'm going to be drawing a few AI-generated Pokemon. There's been this big craze within the Pokemon and Fakemon community to redraw AI-generated Fakemon that were made with this Nokomon site. I'll be sure to put a link in the description. And I wanted to try to throw my hat into the ring. I can't decide if this is more of a AI versus human challenge or a making Fakemon with the help of an AI challenge. I don't know, you can be the judge of that. But before I hop on over to my computer and generate some mon, I have a bit of a disclaimer. I'm guessing that the comment section is going to be filled with comments like this, but I'm aware that TrueGreen7 and the Drawfee Show both just made videos with this idea, and I imagine there's going to be at least a little "you're just copying the big names, get some original content" type comments. I just wanted to say that no, this is not at all an original idea. Last month I actually saw people all over Instagram doing this and really wanted to give it a try in a video-like format. As you can see, I've actually been working on this video since March 30th, because just like TrueGreen7 said in his video, I typically try to make my videos a few weeks in advance. Also, like TrueGreen7 said, the more people who have fun with this idea, the better, so who even cares? With that, let's get to generating some new Fakemon. I am now on the AI generating website. I wanted to capture my initial reactions to these AI generated Pokemon before I got to drawing them. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start by just clicking random and seeing what happens. Let's click generate. Okay, is it gonna be down here? It is. Okay, ready? Oh, okay. I feel like I can actually turn this into something. That's not a bad start. Okay, wait. There's the eyes and the nose, and there's his body and stuff, so I can definitely work with this. Let me save the image. Now I'm going to try to generate a certain type of Pokemon. I say let's go ghost type and see what happens. Okay, generate, and let's scroll down. Let's see what we get. Oh! What? I don't even know what that is. I think I'm gonna redo it. We're gonna try ghost again and see what happens. If we don't get something good, we'll change the type. Okay, wait, that's actually kind of cool. This, I'm gonna, oh, hello dog. I'm going to give this one a try for sure. And now it's time for our last, but definitely not least, generate. We're gonna see if we can come up with something cool. Let's go with an electric typing, maybe a Pikachu clone. All right, let's click generate. Okay. Oh, so this is a legendary electric grass type. It's certainly something, I'll give it that. All right, I'm gonna see what I can do with these three now. Let me get to it. I hopped right to it with recreating this first generated design, which is also the easiest, in my opinion. The first thing that came to mind when looking at this Fakemon was a little octopus or squid, just the general shape of it. And with those larger hand-mount things, I was getting boxing glove vibes, especially with that fighting type. But the thing is, there already is a boxing octopus with Clobbopus and its evolution graph-locked. So I decided to keep the octopus idea and change the boxing to wrestling. After doing some research, I learned that there was once such a thing as octopus wrestling. It was pretty popular in the west coast of the US, and there were even World Octopus Wrestling Championships. Divers would wrestle with large octopus in shallow water and drag them out onto the ground, and whoever found the biggest catch would win. I personally think it's a horrible and inhumane sport, and I'm pleased to hear that of 1976 the sport is now illegal. But it could make for a good Fakemon design. The red circle on this mon's head could easily be shifted down the face a bit to resemble wrestling headgear, and this blue bit could resemble the straps. With all of this in mind, I jumped into sketching the simplified version of the body shape the AI created, so I could get an idea for the proportions. These little things sticking off its head kind of look like pigtails, and I wasn't sure how to incorporate them into the design, so I just ended up not including them at all. I then sketched a small little thumbnail to figure out what I wanted to do with that headgear idea exactly. I've learned I really suck at drawing tentacles, but after looking at some references, I figured it out. I started another sketch now that I had more of a game plan in mind. I absolutely love the little nose that the AI added to the Fakemon, so I was sure to include that. I added a little mouth and then messed with the blue section of the face. As previously mentioned, I wanted to make it look like the strap of a headgear, but also make it look more natural and not just literally a strap. I then had the idea of making a body pattern that resembled that of a wrestling uniform, and moved back to working on that strap again. Eventually, I settled on something I liked, where instead of the strap taking up a lot of the bottom of the face, it's only a small bit covering most of the mouth. Though it does kind of look like a mustache now that I look at it. Getting the eyes right on this thing was definitely a struggle. It took me quite a few tries to find something that not only resembled the original generated eyes, but I could actually draw too. Then it was time to move on to line art. I had a lot of fun with the line art of these 3 Fakemon, and their designs in general. Just like with other drawings, I chose a thicker line art for the outer lines and a thinner size for the more inner detail lines. The line art step is pretty straightforward and I don't have much to say about it, though I did mess around with the eyes some more, still not satisfied with how they were looking. Once I was satisfied with the line art, it was time to do some coloring. As those of you who watched my last video may know, I like to do a rough color sketch just to figure out what colors will go where and see if there's any details I want to add or space I want to fill. For example, this coloring stage gave me the idea to draw some fingerless glove-like patterns on the fists, and helped me realize I'd forgotten to do the line art on the underside of the tentacles. After that, it was time for the actual coloring. The only note about this step I have is that I made the mouth guard a blue gradient to match the gradient of the AI version. Introducing the fighting ground type, Rectopoda. This name is a combination of the words octopoda, which is the scientific name for octopus, wrestling, and it sounds like the word wreck, which just feels fitting? I don't know. These Pokemon are often found wrestling each other both on land and under the sea. They will use the sand around them to distract each other when fighting, not yet strong enough to use their pure strength to defeat each other. Looking back now, I wish I had incorporated the ground typing into this Fakemon more, maybe like rock fists, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. What do you think? Feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Now, this little rock thing was certainly a journey to say the least. I'm not the biggest fan of the final results, but I don't really have time to remake it. Anyway, after staring at this thing for a bit and doing some really quick rough sketches, I thought about how much this head looked like a shark. Like, here's the top fin and, the side fins, the giant jaws. Tell me I'm not the only one who sees this, please. So I decided to look more into sharks and the effect that human trash has on them, specifically ropes. I thought about making this pink tide thing around the generated design be a tongue, but this is gross, man. So, no, it is a rope. And as I did some more research, I learned about an event that happened off the coast of a Hawaiian island in 2018. A group of divers spotted a juvenile whale shark that was wrapped in a heavy piece of rope. After diving underwater 5 times over the course of an hour, a member of the group was able to cut away the rope, and the shark swam calmly away. I thought this was so interesting and made me really hopeful for humankind and their interactions with nature. I really wanted to incorporate this story into my version of this Fakemon design. My take on it may be a little sad, but I'm gonna go with it anyway. What if this shark hadn't been cut from the rope? Would it have died? Would the rope have decayed away? In my hypothetical scenario of this drawing, an ancient shark Pokemon of some sorts gets trapped in a human rope that was left out at sea after a fishing trip. The shark dies and is fossilized in some sort of way. I don't know how that would work. It would be one of the fossil-mon of this hypothetical AI-generated Pokemon region. But now it was time to try and draw this wrapped up shark. I tried to give it a classic shark body instead of those little feet it has, but still make it resemble the AI version. But no matter what perspective or pose I drew this shark in, I flat out hated it. Upset with it all, I gave up a bit and decided to draw the Fakemon from a side view. Though I worry that this is changing the design too much from the original version, and by the end, they couldn't look more different. I guess you guys will have to be the judge of that. There are a lot of things I wish I'd done differently, so I'll probably try to redesign it in the future anyway. Who knows? Speaking of nose, I realized how much the shark was shaping up to look like a goblin shark, and decided to lean into that idea some more for the face. I added that deadly rope, sharp giant teeth like the original design, and tried to make the whole thing look very segmenty and rocky, trying to play up the fossil idea. After that, it was line art time. By then, I decided it was time to stop worrying about these self-imposed rules I'd seem to make up in my head, and just have fun with it like I was originally aiming to do in the beginning. My only note for coloring is that I chose a different shade of pink for that rope, hoping it would help separate it from the rest of the design a bit. And after that, it was time for shading. Scientists found a fossilized ancient form of this Pokemon wrapped in rope when it was washed up on a local beach. After copying the genetic code of this Pokemon, they were able to bring it back from extinction. Now, these Pokemon are often seen swimming around the oceans of this land, using its large jaws to free the Pokemon who are caught in humans' trash. It is said that if it spots any humans dumping garbage into the sea, it will use its now possessed rope to drag them down to the bottom of the ocean floor. But there is no evidence at this time to back this story up. I don't have a name figured out for this generated Fakemon yet, so if you have any ideas, I'd love to see them down below in the comment section. Now it's time to tackle that last Pokemon that this AI generated for us. This one was a lot of fun, but definitely took the most brainstorming, especially considering this is supposed to be a legendary Pokemon. I had no idea where to even begin with this design. So, I turned to Google, as I usually do. I searched up electricity and plants, and eventually, after a lot of link clicking, rewording, and article skims, I somehow found something. In Mexico, quite a few different individuals are working to create a new renewable biofuel that will hopefully replace traditional gas. They're making this new biofuel out of nopal, a certain kind of cactus. I'm not exactly sure how to explain it in great detail to you all, but I read a wonderfully thorough article that taught me a lot. I'll be sure to link it in the description. Let me just try to sum it up for you guys though. Pretty much, this cactus is used in a lot of food, but not all of the cactus is used. So instead of just wastefully throwing it away, people are experimenting by mixing these cactus remains with things like cow manure. According to ScienceDaily.com, plants have enough inner electricity to generate enough volts to power LED light bulbs, and the nopal cactus just happens to have a great source of this inner electricity. Or at least that's what I've come to understand. So that got me thinking, these cacti are kinda heroes. If all goes according to plan, they'll be saving humans from running out of things like fuel as quickly. You could say that if it ends up happening like humans want it to, then this cacti will be legendary. Nah? Is that too much of a stretch? I don't know, but at this point, my head was bursting with ideas. I started with a sketch, trying to figure out how exactly to make this round blob look like a superhero. I mean, it's kinda already got this like mask thing going on, but I wanted to embrace the superhero idea a bit more than that. One thing that stuck out to me was this thing, but I don't really know what to call it. This flowy looking bit. Kinda looks like a piece of cloth, or a cape in a way. So I tried making it look like there was a tied string around it, like those little kid dress-up capes you might see around. Maybe this is a younger cactus pretending to be a hero, and as it evolves, it becomes an actual hero? Anyway, I decided to add a little cactus flower to this green spot here, which I imagine to be a hole in the cloth costume that gets stuck over this cactus. For some reason at this point, the recording of the art starts to get kinda skippy and loses frames and stuff. I'm sorry about that, I don't really know what that was about. So I'll try to explain what's going on. At this point, I was trying to give this Fakemon more of a cactus-shaped body, and adding the little nubby feet that the AI version included. I decided that the pointy part of this mask would just be another cacti needle or spike that you can find here and there on the rest of this little guy. After messing with the mask design and the eye placement some more, it was, say it with me now, time for the line art. Like I said earlier, the line art for these three was a lot of fun, especially this one. Though it was a little harder because my sketch was kinda all over the place. Per usual, I did a rough coloring where I decided that the mask spike didn't really work and didn't match the AI version as much. So I just changed it back to a mask pattern. I decided to do a nice pastel yellow for the flower. I don't know what it was, but the shading on these Fakemon was really fun too. I was just saying in my last video that I don't really like to do shading on drawings, but I don't know, just something about these three. Introducing the hero of this land, an electric grass type Pokemon who's considered to be legendary in this region. Legend has it that long ago, this Pokemon worked under its evolution, protecting all of the natural elements of the land. Together, they would stop people or Pokemon from trying to abuse the land and the resources around them. But as time went on, humans kept using more and more without thinking of the consequences. They made technological advancements that would allow them to create more and more. Eventually, the constant stepping in of this hero in its evolution annoyed the humans, and they created their own man-made set of Pokemon to fight back. This distracted the two landlubbers. They used up all their time trying to defeat the newfound villains to their story. All the while, humans continued their advances. Eventually, the man-made duo overtook this legendary pair and sealed them away. To this day, these Pokemon that worked so hard to protect their land have never been seen again, but neither have the man-made Pokemon. Because of this lack of evidence, and the cruel way this legend portrays humans, many refuse to believe that this is how history went. It seems that professors may never know. What the heck? I just wrote like the whole lore for this made-up region. Why couldn't I do this when I was making the Lazo region? What the heck? I guess this is just evidence that AI and humans work best when they're working together. Maybe someday in the future, instead of being overrun by robots, we'll all live together in harmony. Anyway, I had a lot of fun drawing and redesigning these AI-generated Fakemon. These three ended up taking like a lot of inspiration from the environmental impact that humans have on Earth. I didn't even mean to do that, it just kinda happened. Anyway, if you enjoyed these designs or just enjoyed this video in general, feel free to let me and others know by giving the video a like. If you'd like to see another video like this, please let me know down below in the comments, because this was a lot of fun. If you'd like to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Once that button down below is gray, and you turn on the bell for notifications, you won't miss any future videos like this one. Also, real quick before I end the video, oh my gosh, you guys, we reached 500 subscribers. That is absolutely mental. I'm so grateful for all of you. I want to make a separate video to thank you guys. I'm not quite sure what yet, but I just wanted to throw in a quick thank you at the end of this recording. And just, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Anyway, I hope you all have an outstanding week. This is MissyDoPop, signing off. I'll see you all next— Oh! Watch yourself. I'm watching you. Next time.